there, everyone? It's your bearded brothers. We are back yet again with yet another sports podcast. I am the bearded brother, Matt.
There's the Loki.
There's Loki and the bearded brother, Chris. We apologize for not having a podcast for 2 weeks, but for whatever reason, my system wasn't recording my brother. So,
not my fault.
Totally my fault, I'm sure. But this time I've already tested. We should be good, and he's running a backup just in case. So this one should get out, so you will not see our redraft, and you will not see our free agency recap. To recap the free agency, the Raiders went out and did everything. And some teams made moves that we still don't understand.
Yeah, I would say most people improved, though.
I would say most people improved, and then some people deliberately deproved.
Dolphins. Yes.
Dolphins.
Definitely the Dolphins. I think they were the only team that really did that.
And then at least one team is deliberately delusional, but they're kind of always that way.
I mean, the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Oh, because I was gonna make fun of them for going all in again and doing nothing.
Pretty much. That I will make fun of them for that. But did you not hear about the Jets?
What thing about the Jets? Because there's always weird Jets news.
Aaron sat down. Their head coach sat down and did an interview and said, "I really think that Geno Smith is the quarterback that will take us to the promised land."
I mean, listen.
Said it with his whole chest.
Listen, if that's the quarterback you have, I get the idea of you want to show your quarterback right off the bat that you trust your quarterback. Even if you don't actually trust your quarterback. I get it. You have to fall in on it because they have no one else. They'll probably get one in the draft and just kind of cross their fingers.
On the other news, the Las Vegas Raiders have signed a mentor for their presumable first overall pick of Fernando Mendoza Jr. And they literally signed an older clone of what it appears Fernando Mendoza Jr. is like in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was going to say Mendoza is basically faster Kirk Cousins.
Yes. And the deal is potentially,
from the looks of it,
5 years, $147 million, but it's really a 1 year.
I think they're paying him only I think the Raiders are only paying him like $1.5 million.
I think it's 3.7 for them.
I thought it was only 1.5. It was something ridiculous.
It's something really low because he's getting $10 million from. I think he gets $10 million from the Falcons as a roster bonus, and then he gets another amount. Basically, it equals up to about $20 million this year that he's going to make, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's basically the I texted you this, and
it might be $1.3 million that he's getting from them, and then he's getting like 8.7 from the Falcons, and he's getting a $10 million roster bonus, which would be $20 million.
Yeah,
which is you look at that and you go, what the fuck?
Like I think I literally told you when I made the text, which was basically like the Falcons more or less did the shit. We don't want you so bad. We'll pay you to go play on another team.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. They paid him to go play somewhere else.
And
Minnesota didn't want him.
No.
Instead, we wanted Kyler Murray, so we paid him literally league minimum to come play quarterback for us. Because Arizona still has to pay him. So he's like, I'll come in for a 1 year deal. Now, the interesting part, I don't know if you heard this or not. The only major difference outside of a little bit of money between Tua's contract and Kyler's contract, because Kyler's making a touch more because he's been around more, so the league minimum for him is a little higher.
Yeah.
Is that in Kyler's contract, there's a clause that says the Vikings cannot put a franchise tag on him.
Yeah, they can't franchise tag him. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, Tua can be franchise tagged.
Yeah.
So you looked at that and you went,
Well, in the eyes for Kyler, it kind of makes sense too. I think the reasoning is they detailed basically the idea was that this is going to be like a 1 year prove it deal. If if you prove long term you are the guy, we will pay you. That's kind of the
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
Versus tagging you to try to stick around for another year.
Yeah, because if you're not going to be the guy, then we obviously need to look at, and JJ turns
Yeah.
out not to be the guy again this year.
Yeah.
We need to look at a
Exactly.
quarterback that we can bring in because our window isn't going to be open forever. And
Exactly.
the actual JJ is going to start getting antsy.
Yeah. By the way, apparently an hour ago, Jaguars signed Trayvon Walker to a 4 year, $110 million contract extension.
He's been getting better every year. I still don't think
He
he'll
has
ever
been.
live
I
up
think that's a little. I think that's a little high
a little
price,
bit, but
personally.
and I also don't think he'll ever live up or live down being the first overall pick over Aiden Hutchinson.
Well, only so this is actually not as terrible as it sounds because only 50 million is fully guaranteed at signing.
Oh yeah, that's better.
All the rest of the money is coming from guarantees to make for the
Incentive
contract.
bonuses and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
that's actually not that bad.
No, that's not that bad. That's not that bad.
No.
Um,
That actually makes a lot more sense.
quick hockey news, because we do have some quick hockey news. The Minnesota Wild have officially punched their ticket to the playoffs.
Oh, nice. I mean,
Yep.
I'm not super shocked. They've been playing pretty decently this year.
They have, and in fact, they have completed another bit of team history for them.
Mm-hmm.
The Minnesota Wild, for the first time in team history, have two 40-goal scorers on the same team.
Oh, nice. I mean,
last night, both Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy reached the 40-goal plateau.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That's nice. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Considering there are only two other players in Wild history that have scored 40 goals, and only Kirill Kaprizov has multiple 40 goals seasons for the Wild.
I'm so shocked.
Could you think you could name the other two players that you think might have a 40-goal season for the Wild?
It's probably before I was really watching them, to be honest. So
I
don't know if I would be able to.
I think guarantee you definitely is, but you might still have heard the name because he was
probably
a key part of the Wild. And the other one probably was while you were watching. And
maybe, but you got to remember, I only really watched the playoffs. So
yeah, and well, considering he also has a bunch of famous brothers.
So it's possible I know the name, but I don't know if I would be able to just pull it out right now on you, to be honest with you.
So one of them is named Marian Gaborik.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, that was like 06.
Okay, that's definitely before I was watching. I didn't start really watching until after high school, which would have been 2011.
The other one then you would know, and his name is Eric Stahl.
Okay, I've heard the name for sure. And honestly, I more know it from seeing people wearing his jersey.
Yep, and
I've seen people
he also had because his brothers are Jordan Stahl and I can't remember the other Stahl brother's name, but yeah, there's a defensive. One of their guys is defensive in Stahl, so it's kind of like the Hughes brothers. They never all got to play on the same team as well, so.
Nah, it happens sometimes.
Yeah. But I can tell you right now, the Foligno brothers are absolutely thrilled to be playing on the Wild together. That's been fun to watch. Now, the Wild did win last night. They won 4-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, who were the first team officially eliminated over a week ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. Since then, teams that have been eliminated, the Toronto Maple Leafs were officially eliminated last night. They will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2016.
I was going to say, they've been in there for a while.
Yeah. But
unfortunately, they don't tend to make it super far. But yeah.
No, they're out in the first or second round usually. Kind of like Minnesota.
In the first or second.
Kind of like Minnesota, sadly.
Hopefully this will be different this year, but
hopefully we do have to play Dallas this year.
Of course. I mean, at least it's not Colorado.
No, that's probably going to be our second round matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get knocked out in the second round instead.
The Rangers have officially been eliminated. And the Blackhawks have officially been eliminated.
How's Vegas doing?
Vegas is currently third in the Pacific with 84
Okay.
points. They are tied with the Utah Mammoth. The Mammoth are technically a Central Division team, so they're not going to jump Vegas. The Mammoth would have to catch Minnesota, who has 96 points.
Yeah, they're not catching us then.
But if Vegas keeps going downhill, which they kind of have been a little bit, currently San Jose is in a playoff spot with 79 points. They could potentially catch Vegas.
Because the Knights have always been kind of our kryptonite too, so...
Yes, but they are third this year. They are not a wild card spot. We don't have to worry about them. We wouldn't have to worry about them until the divisional round.
Yeah. Interesting. We're more likely to get knocked out by Colorado, to be fair.
Yes, who currently has 108 points.
Yeah, they're just... Colorado's always good.
But we've been playing Colorado really tough this year. Like, I think in our Colorado series, I think we're split even.
Yeah, we'll see
4 games, how I think it was 2-2.
I mean, you and I both know playoff hockey is different hockey, though.
Oh,
we'll see how that comes out.
Absolutely. We'll also have to see how a 7, like the second wild card, plays Colorado.
Yeah.
Because depending on the team that gets in there, they could just be like, we're not going to win, so we're just going to beat the ever-loving god of them.
Maybe, yeah, that could happen.
Yep. So we'll have to see how all of that goes. But yes, Toronto has been officially eliminated. Carolina has also punched their ticket to go to the playoffs. And everything else is still up in the air. The Leafs are trying to tank a little bit. I don't think they're going to be able to be bad enough. Because they gave away... So, last year at the trade deadline, they picked up Brandon Carlo from Boston. And they gave up a conditional pick. If the pick fell in the first 5 picks, they don't have to send it this year. They have to send next year's pick. The problem with that is, so they're going to be bad enough that it's definitely going to be a top 10 pick. But I don't know if they're going to be bad enough for it to be a top 5 pick unless they get a little bit of luck out of the lottery. Which they could. But if they don't, the leafiest thing that could happen to them is that it's the 6th overall pick and they have to send it over to Boston.
Right.
That would be the leafiest crap ever. At any rate, I don't have any other major news. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So this week, to let everybody know what we're going to do, we're going to look over players in the upcoming draft. Chris did a little more research than I did. Normally what we do is we do guys that are definitely going in the first round, and then we'll have like a couple of guys, or a guy in my case, that's like, keep an eyeball on this guy though. He could go in like, he's currently mocked to go in like the 3rd or 4th round, but he could go high 3rd, low 2nd type of guy, you know? Yeah. So we're going to get into that. And we don't know who each other has on the list. We can make a pretty educated guess, but some of the stuff is going to be fun. And then, so this week we're only doing offense. Next week we'll do defense. The week after that, we will do our mock drafts and let you know who we think is going where. And then after that, we will watch the NFL draft round 1, and we will record it and put that out. So we will record our reactions to it. We're not going to live stream it.
No.
We don't have...
I don't think we'd be allowed to anyway.
No, we don't have the permission from the NFL to do that kind of shit.
No.
But we will record our reactions to the draft happening.
Yeah. So you won't see like the footage of the draft. You'll just see us reacting to it, which I assume you're going to have like a banners up to show like who gets selected when.
I do that. I do that every year. Yeah, I will have banners. You know, because I like to do the college, like I put up their name.
The college,
and then I do the
college,
college, like the college colors for their name, and then I transition it, like it fades out and fades back in.
To the NFL colors.
The NFL colors. Yeah, I like to do that. I think it's cool looking.
No, I get you.
So
you could also do the helmets. I've seen people do that, but
yeah, we could get away with that, or the jerseys. Just
Yeah,
like a
but I don't
simplistic jersey.
know.
You couldn't do the
Yeah,
logos
you
on the
just do a
jerseys,
simplistic like
but you could do
yeah,
simplistic jerseys.
yeah, just the colors of the jerseys. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so we're
I've
going to
seen
get
people do
started
that
with
before.
this. This is the 2026 NFL Draft offensive side of the football. We're going to start at quarterback. Chris, you have more than I do. You said you have
I do.
5.
I have 5 on my list.
Um,
Um,
I only have 3, and one of them is keep an eyeball on. And I didn't really break down the keep an eyeball on too much, but I can tell you why I think that you should keep an eye on them.
all right.
So
I
we'll
mean,
start with you. Start at the bottom and work your way up. And when we hit my keep an eye on, we'll talk about
if we
that.
do.
If we do, if not, then at 3 we'll talk about my keep an eye on, and then we'll talk about 2
Yep,
and 1.
yep. So my first guy, I kind of want to talk about. I don't think, like honestly, I think he's probably at best a 5th round kind of guy. He could even slip into the 6th round. But I think the tool set is very interesting. The first guy I'm going to talk about is the quarterback from Clemson, Cade Klubnik. I think he's a very interesting prospect. My concern is you saw what his ceiling is when he played in 24, and you've now more recently seen what his potential floor is. And that gap is fucking massive.
It is. It is.
And that's my biggest concern with him. However, if he gets into the right coaching situation in the right scheme, I think he has the ability to evolve. I just don't know where he's going to ultimately land between his ceiling and floor, and because it's so wide, it's a hard judgment call. So I just mostly want to shout him out because I just think he's an interesting prospect,
He
but I
reminds
just
me of like
worry long term.
a poor man's Lawrence.
Yeah, pretty much. I just worry long term what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I don't think it's great, unfortunately. Yeah, he really regressed last year. He's not on my
Yeah,
list, but 4th, 5th round, I think, for him.
yeah,
I don't hate him. I think he could still be okay. His potential upside is massive, but his potential floor is chasmic.
yeah, exactly. Now we'll talk about my fourth wide receiver. And I would say he's probably a 4th rounder. Could slip into the 5th, but I think he's very physically capable. He's got all of the physical tool sets. I just think the reason why he's lower down the list is because, as we saw on tape last year, he has an issue when things have to go off script. Um, so we're talking about the quarterback from Miami, Carson Beck. Um, I like what he has as far as physical tool set. He has the arm to really fit it in the tight windows. He's got a pretty decent deep ball. Schematically, he works really well, but God forbid something screw up at the front end and he is getting chased down. I think his throw on the run game is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
The dude needs time to set up and throw.
I mean,
I really do worry about that potentially in pro football, how often that's starting to happen. I just don't know if he's going to be able to transition nicely. But
I
he's got the
think
physical tool sets.
I think he's going to go down as a good to great college quarterback that's just a very limited NFL quarterback. Sadly.
Yeah, and that's kind of what
I
I'm worried
like
about.
him,
Yeah.
but there's just some things there that I don't think you can teach that he doesn't have.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Man, it's sad because I love he's got all the physical capabilities, but he just can't do the off script stuff, which is going to be really hard. Is it teachable? And that's the hard part. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't. Either you figure it out or you don't. So I'm just worried that he might not ever be able to quite click, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right. Who you got at 3?
The guy I have at 3 is somebody that we've mentioned before. Um, I've I really like what he can do on film. I think he's got a lot of potential, but he doesn't fill out a frame very nicely. He's a tall guy, but a little kind of smaller sized, if you know what I'm saying. We're going to talk about the quarterback out of LSU, Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, you see what he does on tape, and he's really good. He's got a lot of tool sets. He's like an upgraded Carson Beck because he can sling it. He has a good tight spiral. He can move on the run. He's got a lot of that capabilities, but man, dude is 6'2" at 203. Carson Beck is 6'5", 233.
Yeah, yeah. He's very small as a quarterback.
He's small. Even at 6'2", I mean, another guy we're going to talk about shortly is 6'1", 211. Like, he just doesn't have what looks like he's missing muscle mass. Now, we've seen that from college, and then they're able to put it on when they get into the NFL. Maybe that'll happen.
Or they're able to compensate.
Or they're able to compensate in other ways. But I think, in my mind, I see him as like a late second, early third round guy. I think he's got a lot of potential. He needs to be picked up by the right kind of organization that's going to help him develop. And I think he's got a good, strong potential to be easily a good backup all the way up to a very solid starter if need be. But we'll see.
The guy that I have for 3 is my keep an eyeball on. And I think he's got a decent arm. He's just... There are some things missing, and I can't quite quantify what they are. But definitely a little jumpy in the pocket. But he's worked well in a couple of different systems now. Because he transferred schools. Even though he had been the starter at his school, he transferred to another school to maintain starter ability. Because they were bringing in somebody else. Of course, I am talking about Miller Moss from Louisville.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I like him. I like his moxie, but the idea that he went from USC to Louisville gives me some pause. I think he's a 4th, 5th round guy. Could climb as high as the 3rd round if somebody wanted to reach. But the potential for him in the right system with the right coach, I think there's something there.
Maybe.
It's that thing of keep an eye on it because it could be something. But again, I'm not betting the farm on him.
And I do want to quickly do a shout out about somebody who's not on my list. I do want to talk about Drew Allard real quick. I think the dude is a potential star. The problem is I think he made personally the wrong choice to actually go into the draft this year. I think he should have gone back to college for 1 more year.
I don't know if he could have. I thought this was his senior year.
No, he actually had the option to go back for 1 more year. I saw that on his tape, and it does say like some of the people that were writing up stuff is that he does, ability that he could have gone back.
Okay. Well, then
I don't know if that's because he was redshirt. I don't know if he was redshirt or not.
Maybe
and then
he may have been medical redshirted at some point.
But I think he's got a lot of potential, but it's just something feels off, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I feel like we've been waiting for that season from Drew Aller for a couple of seasons now, and we just haven't gotten it. It feels like there's something that's like a plug that's holding him back.
Yeah, there's something there, but there's something not there at the same time. It's weird.
I like him. And if he ever figures that connection out, you've got a star.
He's got a lot of the traits,
But if he doesn't, then all you've got is a dude.
Yeah, just a dude who can kind of sling the football.
All right, let's talk about number 2. We all know who number 2 is, so go ahead.
Yep. I have been seeing people swap these. I don't agree with it. I don't know why anyone would swap these. It doesn't make any sense to me. But my number 2 is the quarterback out of Alabama, Ty Simpson. I think, honestly, in my opinion, he's a 2nd round guy, but he could be a late 1st rounder if you really want to reach for it. But I don't. Technically, you could bring him up earlier in the 1st round too. We've talked about it. Like if the Jets really want a quarterback, because they're not going to get Mendoza, I could see them
going. It would be the most
Simpson.
Jets things to do, but
it would be.
I will go out on a limb and tell you. Currently, I don't have them mocked to take him because it would not be the smart thing to do.
No. I could see somebody going for him. I think he's got a lot a lot of potential. He fills his frame better than Newsmeyer, like we've talked about. He's 6'1", 211. He's got a lot of muscle. He's got a lot of moxie. He plays well. Um, I mean, I don't know. He just feels like somebody you could put into a lot of different schemes and have success. He isn't like, in my opinion, like a Cade Klubnik who feels like very scheme oriented, needs to have the scheme to help him protect him. He feels like he's somebody who can just kind of fill whatever position you put him in. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, and
mm-hmm.
I like I said, he's got an okay, but it's not a great arm. He doesn't
Pretty decent, yeah.
It doesn't drive the ball downfield. He's really good on short and medium accuracy.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the big thing with him is he's really good at pre-snap reads.
I was gonna say he's very good at controlling the line and the defense. He's got really good cadences. He can throw people off. He's the epitome, in my opinion. If you were to like put him in a box, he is a field general.
Yes,
he's not going to give you like huge chunk plays, but he's good at controlling the field.
Pro comp in my mind is Brock Purdy.
Well, I was gonna say low grade Tom Brady at best. Like
that's why I'm going Brock Purdy.
Purdy, I can see. Purdy. Yeah.
He's going to control the field. The problem I have with him is we only have that 15 start sample size to work with.
Yeah, that is the downside.
We don't know what he would look like outside of that.
Yeah. I give you that.
Of course, we know the number one overall guy for quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's Mendoza. 100%. Yeah. Fernando Mendoza Jr.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Great arm. I think he's got really good zip on his passes, and my God, some of the deep balls he threw just fell right. Like the receiver just had to go like this, and they would just drop right in there.
I'm curious to see how he'll fit in with the Raiders, but he's smart enough as a player, in my opinion, that I feel like against scheme isn't going to be really something that holds him back long term. So I don't see him having much of an issue as a Raider. Yeah.
He's not.
And I think he'll have enough weapons to work with. So
yeah, he's not super athletic.
And because of who they've, as we discussed already, who they've picked up, I mean, he's probably not going to have to start right away, and that's
exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, he like I said, he's not super athletic.
But he can move.
He can move, and he can rush, but you really wish he wouldn't.
True.
True. But however, one thing I did notice in all the tape, when they turn up the pressure on him, when the spotlight is the brightest,
dude's got a great quick release. Dude.
Not only that, he shines brighter the brighter the spotlight is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean by quick release. Like they put pressure on him, and he's just like, fine, I'll find a way to zip this ball out.
I'm not just
talking
about pressure like that. I'm talking about like playing Ohio State.
Like playing big pressure games.
Big pressure games in big pressure situations. He just cranks it up. Yeah. This is a guy that wants.
I mean, the NFL's a different beast, so we'll see if that transfers. But yeah, I mean, I don't see him being somebody who's going to get easily rattled by like even if he does start early on and loses a couple of games. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to really affect him long term.
Yeah, I firmly agree. At the beginning of the season, I would not have had Mendoza here, but as the season progressed, it's quite obvious he belongs here.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with that.
All right. Running backs, you said you had 6?
I have 5.
5. Okay.
I have 5.
Talk to me about your 5th one, and then we'll do my keep an eyeball on, and then we'll move into the top 3.
I would have 4 after that. After I talk about my 5th guy.
Yeah, no, because I have 4. Because I have 4 with.
Oh, you have 4. Okay.
Keep an eye on.
I didn't know you had 4. Okay.
Yep. I have 3 that I could see going in the first round. One of them definitely shouldn't, but could.
I have only 2 that I think are going to go that potentially are going to go in the first round. And my 3rd guy, I think. Well, we'll see. I'm very curious to see who you have here because this is the one thing that we didn't talk about as much.
We didn't.
Our quarterbacks, we kind of already knew who we're going to go where.
Yeah.
We've talked about wide receivers a little bit. So we kind of already know roughly where some of our wide receivers are, but running backs, we got nothing. So I'm very curious.
This is going to be interesting. All right, so who's your number 5?
So my number 5, and I want to make it clear, this is a guy that I am very interested in, but I don't see him going before the 5th round. Um, he is the running back out of Arkansas. I have Mike Washington Jr. here. And he's got a lot of the intangibles you kind of want, but he's also kind of rough around the edges when it comes to like what he can put on tape. But he's got the size, he's got the frame, he's got insane speed, but like the angles he takes sometimes are dog shit.
He's got zero elusiveness.
And his vision is
he's
questionable.
he's more of a downhill speed power runner than he is elusive. He's not going to leave anybody with their jockstrap hanging on the field. But he might run them over.
I think his biggest thing is if he schemes correctly, if whoever picks him up is the right kind of scheme fit for him with the right O-line, I think he could put up big numbers.
I think he would work better in a Thunder and Lightning duo.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like a scheme fit with the right type of O-line. I just don't know exactly what he could do, but that would be his best, in my opinion,
Sonic and Knuckles type of vibe, where you already have a guy that's going to be your fast running back, but then you sometimes need that guy that could just run it right in between the tackles and the guards and just fucking plow over a dude.
Yeah. Because he's really fast for his size, but he's not gonna be like wow you with like, oh, he's the fastest. He's faster than you think he would by looking at him. And the best way to describe that is a Derrick Henry, but not as good. Like, you look at Derrick Henry and you're like, dude, that's a big dude. He's running how fast?
Yeah,
that's kind of what this feels like, but like a minier version, right?
Yeah.
Except for without the elusiveness and without the vision. So, but he's got that kind of frame and speed.
Who do you have it for?
So this one is, I think, going to be pretty contentious based upon what I've seen as consensus draft boards. People are really not going to like my opinion here, I think, but my 4th guy, and I see him as like a 3rd rounder, maybe a 4th rounder, like a late 3rd, early 4th kind of guy. He's the running back out of Washington, which is Jonah Coleman. A lot of people have him going like 2nd, even late 1st, and I just don't agree with it. I'll put it this way. He's a really strong running back, and if you only need 2-3 yards or you want a goal line guy, yeah, he's great for that. He's definitely great for that. But that's all he really has in my book. He's not super fast. He's not super elusive
behind the line.
Yeah. He's not super fast. He's not super elusive. His vision is even worse, in my opinion, than Washington. But what he has for that he makes up for is he's really strong, and he can push through the line if you need a goal line guy. But that just feels like in the NFL, that's going to be a very small role in comparison. Like, he's going to be like your RB3 that you just want to punch in. I don't see him being a RB1 or a RB2 even. I don't even see him being a Sonic and Knuckles. Like, you would have to prove a lot more to be in that role.
Short yardage specialist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've seen people have him way up higher, and I just don't agree. I just don't.
No, I don't either. At number 4, for my keep an eyeball on, I have Damond Claiborne from Wake Forest.
Oh, Wake Forest, yeah. I saw a little bit of tape from him, but I wasn't like real impressed, to be honest.
It's because it's Wake Forest, so there isn't.
That's the
biggest
problem.
Is there's not a lot there to work with, and he was the one guy on that offense that made you go, oh, they can do something.
They kind of have something there, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's got some ability, but I see him as like a 4th, 5th round running back at best. But he's still somebody that I think in the right situation at the next level could definitely make you go, hey, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
All right, so who do you have at 3 then? This is going to be interesting.
My guy at 3 is like a late 2nd, early 3rd. I'm curious to see if, where you're at with this, because I have a feeling we're going to disagree here, and that's okay. This is okay. Because obviously I think you have him up higher, to be honest with you. I'm going to talk about the running back out of Nebraska, Emmett Johnson.
I don't have him higher.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
I wasn't sure if you had put him at second, because some people are doing that.
No, he's technically would be my fourth, underneath my guy at 3.
Okay, I'm curious to see that. Then
you've already talked about. I will tell you've already talked about my guy at 3.
Oh, Coleman? No, it's not Coleman.
Nope.
I don't know
Washington.
who would be. You really have Washington? I don't know if I agree, but
I like the speed at 223. I think there's something.
Yeah,
there
the big there. Yeah. So Emmett Johnson just has a lot of the things that I criticize the other two for. He has good vision. He has good burst speed. He is elusive laterally speaking. Like, he's got a lot of ability to find the small gaps and hit them and keep going. He's not going to be your fastest guy, but I feel like he's got a lot of the intangibles you kind of look for. And I think he would be perfect in a dual back system, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
I think he would be really good as a Sonic Knuckles to back.
Yes.
And that's why I have him at 3. I just think he's really talented. I just don't think he's like the other two guys who I think are just better.
Yes. and if you have the other two that I think you have, then we aren't going to have any issues at all.
I would be shocked if we don't have
at 3. I have Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas. We've already talked about him, but again, he's 223, and the dude runs like he's 100 and something pounds. You know, he's very fast for a guy his size. Plays with a chip on his shoulder. Again, doesn't have great vision. Doesn't take the greatest of angles. That can be at least the angles thing can be taught, and it can be schemed. Not terribly good with his hands. Not terribly elusive either. He's not going to leave anybody looking for their jock. Does play, though, like he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's out to make the whole world his bitch. And I love that. Also, don't ask him to pass block, because you're just asking for trouble. The guy, you'd be better off having a swinging door there. That would at least slow them down for a second.
Yeah, pretty much.
His definition of pass blocking is called lookout pass blocking. It's when you yell "look out" when the guy goes by you.
Yeah.
But no. So at number 3, I have Mike Washington Jr. Let's talk about 2. I'm sure we have the same guy at 2.
Yeah, at 2, I have. He's kind of my late first, more likely second round.
Love the guy. The biggest problem we've had with him is he had that Achilles tear. And so how will he handle a feature role? Because he wasn't even the feature back at his own school.
Before we keep going, I am going to say it is one of the running backs out of Notre Dame. It is
Jadarian Price.
Jadarian Price, yeah.
Now I will say he's a legit tough runner that chews through arm tackles like they're fucking candy.
He is very strong. He's very patient with his running, but I think that's also going to be his downside. And the reason why I say that is if he gets on a team where the O-line isn't going to give him enough of a hole, he's just going to get run down in the backfield.
Yeah. I will also say that he's got great speed once he hits the next level. His initial burst is kind of ass, though.
Yeah,
but after he gets through that and he hits the secondary, gone.
And the biggest problem is this is one of those situations where you look at his tape and you go, "Damn, that's good," and then you look at his combine and go, "What the fuck happened?"
Yes, this is very much that. What you see on tape did not translate to the combine.
Yeah, so that's going to make some people wary, which is why I have him probably slipping into the second round.
Yep.
I think he's definitely what you would quantify as like a workhorse running back, right? He's somebody you can give him the ball. He's probably going to get you 5 or 6 yards pretty consistently as long as you have decent blocking on your front end.
Now, he does have very good vision. And again, that's probably his downfall, is because he takes a
while to decide where he's going to go. Yeah.
Now, his partner in crime is number 1, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame.
Jeremiah Love. Not even close. Yeah.
Not even close. That dude's a home run threat the moment he touches the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
He's got so much potential. It's ridiculous.
he's got great hands in the passing game.
Yep.
He's a lot stronger at the point of contact as well than you might expect for somebody of
Oh
his
yeah,
size.
he can truck through people pretty good.
Yeah. Uh, now his
I mean,
smaller.
the only thing that I would say is a knock against him is he's not like super fast.
Yeah, and he's also not super.
He's fast. He's just not
He's
super
not
fast.
super big. He's
Yeah.
got a bit of a smaller frame, and that kind of makes me, can he handle 20 plus carries a week in the NFL at
Yeah.
the level they're going to expect? That's the only thing I'm worried about with him.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the dude is a monster. He's going to go really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the only other thing is you probably don't leave him in there to block.
Yeah, no,
gonna-
he's really kind of ass at pass blocking.
Yeah, probably don't want him.
Probably don't want him doing that. All right, let's move to wide receivers.
I have a lot of these.
You do. I don't get to keep an eye on until number 6, so you start and let me know when we hit to 6.
I have 9 wide receivers. My very first one that I actually have on here, I have a question mark as to what round he could go, because my biggest problem is dude is somebody who may or may not be coming off of a really bad injury. And that is slightly concerning, but he's one of those receivers up until that point that looked like a true like X receiver, like just really good. So I am going to talk about wide receiver out of Louisville, Chris Bell. I think Chris Bell on tape is insane.
Oh yeah.
He's got so much potential. He's got great size. He's really fast, but that injury at the very end of the season is going to be the big question mark.
Fucking gruesome.
Yeah, if he's ready to go and he gets signed off by the doctors, I think he could go easily in the first or second round. But if he's not cleared, he might slip out into the third, fourth, fifth round. I just don't know. But he's kind of like almost my quote unquote keep an eye on, because he's got all the talents and he's got a lot of the intangibles and he's got the physical traits. But that injury, man,
yeah,
that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
All right, let's talk about now my second wide receiver. Well, second, my 8th wide receiver.
Yeah.
A guy that I think from here out, most of my guys are going to be either second or first rounders. My next 3 are seconds, and then the rest are going to be all first. So I am going to talk about a guy that I think has great speed. He's got really good burst. He's pretty athletic, but I think his skill set is definitely going to cleanly fit him into a slot role very specifically. So I am going to talk about the wide receiver out of Georgia, Zachariah Branch. I think he's got a lot of the potential to be a really good slot receiver, but that's about it. He's not going to be somebody you want to move around much. He's going to be our slot guy, and that's it.
Yep.
But he's going to do it really damn well.
I think he's kind of a bottom second.
He's also a little
guy.
smaller at 5'9" too, which is
like I see him as a bottom second guy.
Yeah, I see him as like a mid bottom second. But he's got a lot of upside that I kind of like. If you really just need a slot guy, perfect.
Yep.
Pick him up.
Yep.
You're gonna be happy. As for my 7th wide receiver, I am going to talk about a guy from Alabama. I am going to talk about is it Jeremy? I don't know how to say his. Is it Jeremy Bernard? He's a very interesting prospect. He's fairly decent sized. He's 6'1", 206. He's got a pretty decent speed, but he laterally can catch pretty well. And he can kind of ball hawk a little bit. He's more often than not, because of his size and strength, is going to be able to outpower some of those smaller corners for sure. He's kind of like my red zone guy, right? I think he's going to be a really good red zone target just because of his speed, or not his I should say his burst, his size, and his lateral movement. He's not somebody you're going to expect to go way down the field and catch bombs. He's going to be a like short to medium guy who's going to be very consistently overpowering the corners that are going to be on him, especially in the red zone. And so I think he's a pretty good mid to early second rounder.
Okay. Number 6.
Number 6, we talked about him a little bit. Some people have him higher up on their draft boards. I'm not fully in on it yet, but I do like what he has as potential. I have him as like a late first, early second guy. Um, we're going to talk about the wide receiver out of Texas A&M, Casey Concepcion. Um, I think he's got insane speed. He's got insane agility. He's got a lot of that ability that you kind of see where he can kind of go. He can really juke people out of their fucking shoes within the first 15 yards. He can separate really well. He can be kind of that deep ball guy you kind of want. But I'm just not convinced he's got all of the skill quite yet, if that makes sense.
It
I mean,
does.
he's 6 foot. He's pretty tall, but he's only 196. It's a little lighter. It's a little light for like being able to overpower people, in my
I'll
opinion.
talk about him when we get to him on my board.
And so there's a lot that I like there, but I'm not fully convinced, if that makes sense.
I totally understand where you're coming from. For me, at 6 is my keep an eyeball on, and in this case, I went with a guy who didn't flash a lot in the season, but boy did his workout just fucking blow people away. I'm going to talk about the 6'4" wide receiver who ran a 4.37 40 at the combine, Chris Brazzell II out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Man, his season tape doesn't make you go, wow, but his workout made you go, holy shit, there's something here. He's fast. He's tall. I think in the right system with the right quarterback, he's going to be a fucking problem. The question is where and how. But I think there's some potential there.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
So who do you have at 5? I'm going to be very curious to see if...
At my 5, I have wide receiver out of Washington, Denzel Boston. I really like him, but he's not, at least on tape, doesn't look like he's super fast.
He's not.
But what he does have is kind of like what I've talked about before with another guy. He's got a good vertical. He's gonna be a good red zone guy. He's not gonna speed by anybody, but he's got really strong hands. He's got a really good vertical. He's gonna be a good short mid round kind of guy.
He's kind of a lanky guy. He's 6'4".
Yeah, he's lanky. He plays pretty smart. He uses that to his advantage. Once he gets the ball
too in his hands, he runs really angry for a guy like
he runs well. He plays smart. He moves well. He just doesn't have the speed. But I think in the red zone or even like midfield, if you need like short down or even mid yardage, I think he's got a lot of the ability. He knows how to take full advantage of his body, if that makes sense.
I also have him at 5. I fully agree with you. I disagree with you on 4, because at 4 I have from TAMU, Casey Concepcion. You've talked about a lot of that already. I do want to point out that he tracks the ball incredibly well. His top end speed is not fast, but what he's got is burst. He is very quick to get to his top speed. He can be fast in a hurry, or get to his top speed in a hurry. The biggest problem, again, you mentioned, he is only 6 foot, like 196. Him being a little more compact like that makes the window to get him the ball a little smaller, but he's so good at catching it that I'm not, it's very going to be curious as to where he winds up. Reminds me of another smaller, compact guy that was a little bit okay quickness that used to play for Pittsburgh named Hines Ward. Very Hines Wardy type of player.
I get you.
All right. Who do you have it for?
My 4 is going to be a little contentious, I imagine, and that's okay. But I do have it for the wide receiver out of Indiana, Omar Cooper Jr. Now, not everyone's going to agree with that, but again, he fits a very specific slot scheme that I've talked about. He's a very good slot, but here's the big thing. Here's why I like him, and this is gonna really matter based on who drafts him. But this is a guy that's got really good speed, like really, really good speed. But his biggest intangible is he's really good at creating yards after the catch. He's
Yes.
somebody you want to get the ball down to really quickly in very short yardage situations and just let him cook because he will. Um, he's very athletic. He's very elusive. He just creates yards on his feet. Um, he's almost like a catching running back, almost in a weird
Yes.
way.
He's a
Um,
little smaller, but
yeah,
he's really good.
and, and so I really like what he can bring to the table, but my biggest concern is he's gotta be selected by the right team. But you put him on the right team, and dude is going to be a menace.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. At number 3, this is where Chris and I are going to get a little bit off. We already kind of know the way we've already ordered these
Yep.
guys. So at number 3 for me, I've got a guy he's not a burner, and he's not going to turn a short catch into 20 yards. Um,
Okay.
but what he does is track the ball super well, and he has the ability to adjust on the fly. And it's MacLeod out of USC. Um, he's got great hands. Just he's the thing I really like about him is that when, again, much like Mendoza, when the lights get brighter, so does he.
Yeah.
The more pressure the game has, the more he likes it. Absolute dog in him. The other thing he does is he blocks pretty well for a guy his size. Gonna be kind of an asset in the running game because of it. The only issue I see him having is gonna be because he's only 5'11". And by the way, he wins jump balls and contested catches at 5'11" that he has no fucking right to win. Um, but I think he's going to struggle a little bit with long-armed press corners. The guys that are like 6'1", 6'2", that like to press you and bump you on the route, he's a little bit lighter, and I think he's going to have a little bit of trouble with guys like that, shedding them and getting by them. That's about the only downside I have to him. I think he's going to be a great asset at the next level. I love him to death. I like the other two guys a little more. I'm sorry, I just do.
All right, it's fine. I'll talk about him when I get there because
Yep.
obviously I don't agree, and that's okay.
No, you think he should be higher, but you can't say that I'm wrong about anything I've said.
Um, like I said, I'll get there when I get there. I think there is one thing that I think you are slightly overlooking, but that's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference for me, probably between you and me, is the one thing that I think you're slightly overlooking, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not a it's small. My number 3, though, is going to be the wide receiver out of Arizona State, which is Jordan Tyson. Um, I Jordan Tyson is a very fun running or not running back wide receiver to me because this is I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this for a pro comp, but he's very flexible. He's not like going to be your fastest wide receiver, but he's got a good basketball background. He can high point the ball. He's really good at finding the soft spot in the soft zone within the defenses and finding that soft spot. He he's very versatile. I mean, he almost feels like a baby JJ. I I I don't because remember when JJ was coming out, that's kind of what he was good at too.
Yep.
He feels like a baby JJ. Um, I think he's got so much versatility. I think he knows how to control his body when it comes to catches. He can kind of do weird catches that you're like, Jesus, what the hell? Kind of like JJ does now. Like he's just got a lot of the immeasurables that can't be really measured by combine. Like you look at the tape and you're just like, dude, how is he doing some of those catches? How is he finding the soft spot? He's very competitive. He's very smart. I just he doesn't have all the physical tools, but quite frankly, with the way he plays, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to be the fastest or the tallest or the strongest. He finds a way to outsmart you at the game. Like he's just I don't know what else to say about it. I like him a lot. Um, honestly, I'm at the point where I'm basically going to call him 2B rather than my third wide receiver. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's 2B and my other guy's going to be 2A because like
Mm-hmm.
I really like him a lot.
Yeah, no, speaking of 2A, we have the same guy here. And it's going to be the wide receiver out of Ohio State, Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Very similar to me to Tyson.
Yeah.
Great body control. I think the thing that jumped to me on tape, if you look at his 40 wasn't spectacular. But when you watch him play on tape, he seems to play faster than his 40 would suggest.
I think that's because he's kind of like, I mean, again, similar to Tyson, I think they're both just very competitive. And so when there's a difference between doing it for the combine and doing it for the game. You see what I'm saying? Like some people just can't get that competitive edge that they'll get when they're actually playing. And sometimes that can give them just a little bit extra boost.
Yeah, like he's got great hands. He only had 3 drops all season long. Fantastic. Loves to come back for the football. Doesn't get undercut by DBs a whole lot. The best part about him is the way he high points the ball. Like a defensive back can have perfect positioning on him, and Tate is still going to find a way to come down with the ball. And you look at it and you go, how the fuck did he do that? I think the only thing that I
think my only criticism is I don't think he's a deep ball guy. I don't think he's a guy you're just telling him to go run down the field and deep ball.
No, I don't think he is either.
I think he's definitely gonna thrive the most at like mid yardage.
Yes. And the other thing that I would say is he's a touch on the light side, and I would worry that he might get bumped off his routes too easily.
Potentially. I mean, 6'2", 192. I mean, he's got pretty decent length and arms, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But there is a chance. I get it. There is a chance. He's not Tyson, who's the same height, but at 203, right? So
yeah.
I get you.
But yeah, I think we agree basically on Carnell Tate that he's definitely the number 2 consensus overall. He's really good.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you tell me about what you see in Makai Lemon that I missed?
Yeah, so I have Makai Lemon at number 1, and dude is, I think, slightly underrated in this draft. People do have him up in the top 3. I just think he's closer to 1 than people think. I think his high point catches are better than people think it is, being that he's 5'11", like you already talked about. He can catch things that people who are 6'1" or 6'2" would have issues catching at times. Like he just finds a way to make it work. He's not super fast, but he's pretty speedy. But his a big thing is that he plays very smart, and he leverages the defense against themselves. He's learned how to do that. And so when you talk about him being pushed off potentially by long arm guys, I say that's where his intelligence pops in, because he knows how to run the route in such a way where he can easily throw the guys off of the game, and they won't really be able to do much. He's fast enough in his agility to get around people, and he's a very smart player.
For me, it's more press at the line of scrimmage before he has a chance to put any of that into motion. But
that's what I was going to say. So the thing is the footwork is so good that he can make it look like he's going to run one route versus another. And that's something that JJ is able to do as well, that we've seen. And that's becoming more and more common with wide receivers, finding ways to throw off the press by making it look like they're going to do something specific and then juking them and getting out of there. I don't think he'll be held up as much as you think he will be. I do think that is potentially his biggest adversary. You're probably right on that, but I don't actually think he's going to get jammed up as much as you think he's going to get jammed up.
No, but it's still a concern in my book.
It is the biggest concern. So my pro comp for him, and this is kind of where I'm at, is I see him as a JSN, dude. He's
to a degree. I don't think he's as fast as JSN is.
He's not quite as fast as JSN, but he's got a very similar tool set that JSN does. Because JSN is not super tall, but he high points the ball in ways that you would not expect.
I was thinking more along the lines, you're going to laugh at me, I'm thinking more along the lines of like Cooper Kupp.
I think the difference with Kupp is Kupp's taller. I think Kupp is like 6'2", if I remember right.
I think so. Or maybe even Puka, but Puka's faster.
Puka's definitely faster, and he's stronger too, I would say.
Yeah.
Puka's got a lot of strength. He's like a combination of Kupp and JSN. I think he's got a lot of the tool sets that you would look at and go, damn, he can high point. And I think he's underrated in the same way JSN kind of was. Because remember, JSN didn't come out of the draft being the consensus number one. He didn't come out even being number one on his team. But eventually he molded into that. And I see Makai Lemon as being that similar receiver that you give him a year or two in the league, and he's going to be able to easily take over as a number one wide receiver for somebody.
So my number one is obviously Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State.
Yeah.
And I get where a lot of people are maybe a little worried because of the collarbone, the knee, and the hamstring issues that he's dealt with in college.
That is a slight concern.
But when he's out there, like, he wins contested catches, and you can see his NBA background. He wins them like a center going up for a tip-off.
Yeah.
He's got great body control. He tracks the ball through the air well. Finds a way to get open. He's a real asset to his quarterback. There is definitely something special about him, but we've said that about wide receivers before, only to have them not really take to what we thought they would.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's true.
But no, I like Jordan Tyson. You kind of went over everything, I think, as well. I don't have any major issues. We just flopped Tyson and Lemon, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. All right. Let's talk tight ends.
All right. I got 3 on my list, but only one that I see as a clear first rounder.
Yeah, I have 2. One of them is just like a project to keep an eye on. I think he's fast. I think he's good, or he could be good.
Right.
The other one is definite, like, oh, this guy's like a freak.
Right. So the first guy I'm going to talk about then is my 3rd overall tight end. He's definitely, like I said, late second, early third kind of guy. He's a tight end out of Ohio State, which is MacLeod. He is definitely a pass catching tight end. He's not somebody you're going to want to throw him as a blocker. He's a very flexible kind of tight end. My issue is the reason why I think he slipped is because I think what he put on tape previously when he was playing at Purdue looks a lot better than the tape he put on when he was at Ohio State. And so I think he slipped a little bit, but I think he's shown on tape that he can be somebody who can actually read routes really well. He's faster than you would think he is, and he's a fairly flexible tight end in that way. And so I don't think he's like somebody who's going to be like forced to fit into a specific scheme. I feel like he can kind of flex around and be pretty comfortable. His biggest concern obviously is just the blocking, which is basically non-existent.
All right, who do you have at 2?
At 2, I have tight end out of Vanderbilt, Eli Stowers. He's kind of a late second, early third kind of guy. He's a very similar to Max in the way that he is definitely going to be more of a pass catcher than he is going to be a blocker. I just don't know. And difference with Max is that I think Eli's just a little faster. He's got a little bit more technique. He's got a little bit more agility off the line, but he's very similar in my mind in the same way. Like he's pretty flexible. He's pretty good at his routes. He's just very similar tight end, to be honest with you. He really is. I mean, even the biggest difference is that he's just lighter. I mean, they're both 6'4". Stowers ran a 4.51 versus Max's 4.7. So like I said, faster. His weight is 239 versus Max being 246. I mean, you kind of could interchange them and get a very similar player either way.
So at 2, I have my keep an eyeball on player, and it's going to be the tight end out of Georgia, Oscar Delp.
Okay.
I'm going a little further afield on this one.
That's definitely further down.
He's very rough, very raw. He's a pass catching type, but he's fast. Good Lord. For a guy his size, he shouldn't be that fast.
I mean, he ran a 4.49, which is like basically wide receiver numbers.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of why I was like, there might be something there, but he's going to have to learn how to hold on to the fucking football.
Yeah.
And of course, number 1, you and I, Same guy.
Dude.
Fucking freak athlete, 6'3", 241, and ran a 4.39.
3.9, a 4.39 at 241 is insane.
What the hell? Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. What are you?
Dude,
are you a tight end? Are you a wide receiver? Are you both?
I saw those numbers and immediately went, what the shit?
I did the same thing. And then you watch him play and you're like, good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically a wide receiver. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, he's just a big wide receiver.
I have two gripes. Literally,
yeah.
He does everything great. I have two gripes. One, he can't block worth a damn.
No, he cannot block worth a damn.
He cannot block worth a damn. And two, sometimes he drops the easy routine catch because he's already looking upfield, trying to figure out where he's going. Because he knows he's fast enough to get by everybody.
Yeah.
So he needs to work on watching the ball into his hands on those easy routine catches.
But that ceiling, dude, his potential on ceiling is absurd.
It's absurd.
Absurd.
He is reminds me a lot of like a Brock Bowers. You just look at him and you go,
I was going to say a faster Brock Bowers.
Yeah, he's a faster Brock Bowers. Good Lord.
I mean, honestly, like he's closer to a DK Metcalf.
Yes. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if some team drafts him going, we're going to make him a wide receiver. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Just turn him into a wide receiver.
Just turn him into a big wide receiver.
Here we go.
Yeah. There's not a corner in the league that's going to cover him.
No, nobody's going to be able to touch him. It's
ridiculous. Yeah. So, Kenyon Sadiq, guys, everybody, next big thing. I'm calling it. Like, if you want a guy,
at least as far as tight ends are concerned,
like, because we don't have a real, what I would call a stud beast wide receiver, unless you count Kenyon Sadiq as a wide receiver, in which case, holy shit.
Yeah.
All right. Offensive tackles. I have 6 with my keep an eyeball on.
I have 8, but 6 of them are more likely going to be your top guys.
All right. So let's start. Go on your bottom.
So I will start talking about, let me get down my list here. The first guy I'm going to talk about, and by the way, just because he's not a first rounder, I mean, we're still talking in my book like a late to mid second rounder. Like we're still talking a pretty damn good guy. The problem I have, so this is the first thing I want to get out of the way. Evaluating linemen is always tough.
Yes.
I'm kind of just because like even when you're watching tape, it's like there's only so much you can be like really see on tape. So I'm kind of going a little bit more. I'm leaning a little bit more into the combine and seeing kind of what they did to the combine. So I'm kind of feeling it out. I'm not sure how much people are going to agree with me on some of these, but hopefully they're okay. So the first guy I do want to talk about is the tackle out of Iowa in Jennings Dunger. Dude is just raw power. He's just straight raw power.
And that mullet.
Is super strong. Huh?
The mullet.
Yeah, the mullet. But he's just got, I mean, he's just all power. He's all power. He's mean as a fucking brick house. But that's it. Like, that's all he's got going for him.
I love
If you want him to be a finesse guy, he ain't doing
it. I love Jennings Dunker, but he's like a 3rd round guy. But, God, is he going to be fun in the locker room.
Like I like how somebody reported him. Like, I think somebody called him straight up like a phone booth. Like, he's a great brick house, but don't ask him to move around a lot because if he gets like matched up against a guy who's like really speedy and trying to get around him, they're going to.
I honestly feel like he would benefit from a move inside to guard.
Potentially, yeah, potentially. The guy is just fun to watch, but like, yeah. I just don't. Yeah, somebody else was mentioning that at inside guard he probably would translate better, to be honest.
Yes, I agree.
Because then he doesn't have to worry about people trying to catch him on the edges
Exactly.
So, but he's still a very interesting brick shithouse of a man.
Yes, he is. He's funny too. He gives great interviews.
Yeah, for sure. So that was my 8. Like I said, mid-second rounder, maybe potentially late even. By the way, he is 319 pounds, 6'5", so like, big dude. Um, let's go to my seventh. My seventh guy comes in at 321 at 6'6". He is out of Arizona State. Max, I'm gonna butcher this last
You
fucking
are.
name.
I can't say it
Ian
either.
Aker?
I think so.
Ian Aker? It's gonna be close to that. Um, I I like what I see. He's faster than you would think he would be for a big dude. He's got a little bit of agility to him. Um, he moves that kind of frame and body a little bit more than you think he would be able to. He's got good light feet. He's got good technique. Um, I mean, there's not a lot wrong with him outside of the problem that his run blocking isn't great. Like, that's his biggest weakness.
Yeah.
His pass protection, great. Run blocking, not so much.
Not so much. There's a couple of guys like that on here.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. I really like what he has, but that run blocking is probably his biggest downside.
What do you got at 6?
All right, let's talk about 6. 6 is a guy that I could see kind of moving out of the first round. But I liked sort of what he had going on for him. Mostly because he's one of those guys that you can see a very clear from, year to year obvious improvements.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that kind of puts me as a like, oh, if he's improving every year, even up to his senior year, could he continue improving more into the NFL?
Yes, we may not.
And that's kind of what I'm.
We may not have seen his ceiling.
Yeah, we might not have seen his max potential yet. So, I'm going to talk about out of Clemson, Blake Miller. He is 6'7", weighs 317. He's shown massive improvements every year he's played. He's got great pass protection. Well, the running is fine. It's fine. I wouldn't call it amazing. But he's got intelligence. He's got good feet. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing he needs to work on is run blocking, and it's not as bad as even Max's is. I think it's a little bit better. I think he's shown improvement over the last year he did it, but it still needs to be better than it currently is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. At number 6, I have my keep an eyeball on, and I chose a guy that's probably a 3rd or 4th rounder, but he's interesting because he's also faster than you would expect for a guy his size. Keep an eyeball on the tackle out of Oregon, Isaiah World. I think he's going to be a little bit better than people think he's going to be, but I don't think he's going to knock anybody's socks off. But he's interesting, if nothing else. And yeah, I went further afield for him.
Yeah, I don't even see, I'm looking at it, so just his page because I didn't even see him. They have him listed as like a 5th round prospect.
Yeah.
So,
but I think if you look at his raw numbers, you're like, oh, there's something there.
I mean, let's see here. I mean, we're talking 6'8", 318. He ran a 5.4, which is not actually great.
But he's interesting.
I mean, Max ran a 4.91. Blake ran a 5.04.
At 6'8", though, you look at him and you go,
6'8", yeah.
There's something just with that size alone.
He's got the length more than anything else. He's got good length.
And if you can teach him some skill, he might turn into something.
Yeah.
That's literally what you're looking at with him.
Maybe. He's definitely a raw prospect for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see if you and I agree on the rest of these. I think we might switch them around a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we've got the same top 5.
If we don't have the same number 1 at bare minimum, I'd be shocked.
I'm sure we do. For me though, at number 5, I want to talk about a guy who's really, really good at pass protection and has a really good basketball background, and it shows. And that is the tackle out of Georgia, Monroe Feeling.
Okay.
I like him.
I have him. I got him a little higher.
I have him at 5 because, as we've mentioned before, he's great in the pass protection. and his run protection is there. It's
Yeah.
not exactly the greatest thing on the earth. And I guess my biggest knock on him is he relies a lot on his athleticism to get things done. And it causes him a little bit to like bend at the waist, and he doesn't quite move into or brace for contact properly.
Right.
That came up in the mirroring drills during the combine. I'd like to see him brace more than or brace harder into contact rather than bending over at the waist. Like,
right. I know what you're saying.
Move your knees more. But I think he's going to be really good at the next level. I have him at 5. Going to be interested to see. We probably switched a couple of these guys around, but let's see what you got at 5.
So at 5, I have mostly a guy that I haven't seen quite as much tape as I would like to see, which is the only reason I think he's lower. I think he could definitely be higher up, and I know for sure you have him higher up, at least by at least one spot, at bare minimum. I am going to talk about a guy out of Utah, Caleb Lomu, and I just my only concern is we're talking what 28, 29 games played in college, I believe.
Something like that.
So we have only a low amount of games, but from year 1 to year 2, you do see massive improvement as far as pass protection is concerned. His run protection needs more work for sure, but dude has the intangible abilities. He's got the intelligence. He's got the movement. He's got the hands, just the hand timing. He's got a lot. He's very athletic. He's got athleticism. He's one of those guys you look at and you go, man, his floor right now is fine, but his potential ceiling is massive.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're buying in on a player that you think is going to be great, but isn't great now, if that makes sense. And that's the only reason he's lower on my board.
Mm-hmm. I totally get where you're coming from on that. I do have him a little higher up.
That's fair.
At number 4, I'm going to talk about a guy who's an anchor at tackle. He's not going to blow the doors off you with his speed, and he may get beat a little bit on occasion by speed rushers, but if you try to bull rush him, once he is anchored in place, you're not going to go anywhere. And I, of course, am talking about the offensive tackle out of Alabama, Caden Proctor. This dude, once he anchors in place, 98% of bull rushers are going to end up on their butt. He's just a beast. Plays with an absolute finisher mentality. He's a power run blocking monster. If you want somebody to power run block in the gap for you, you're looking at Caden Proctor because he's going to absolutely annihilate people out of that gap. The one knock on him is he doesn't deal well with lateral movement, so anybody that's fast, he's not going to be able to get around on to block well. But if you try to run over him, he's toast. I think he could benefit again, like Dunker, from a move inside to guard.
Moving into guard, yeah.
Yep, where that movement won't bother him as much.
I fully agree. I do also have Caden Proctor at number 4. Honestly, you kind of already detailed some of the issues, and I found out the reason why he has some of those issues is he actually has shorter arms than you would expect for his size.
I did note that,
and that's his big problem. That's his biggest problem. He's just a little short-armed.
His arms are a little short for his size, yeah.
I think that's why it would work if he gets moved into guard, because then it's not going to matter nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of agree with you. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of the intangibles that would work well. I just think the arm length is going to be his biggest concern as far as staying at tackle.
The next guy I'm going to talk about is pretty smart at number 3 here. He's very good at identifying blitzes. The issue is he drifts back to brace rather than blocking and anchoring the way I'd like him to. But that's because he's only got about 28 games under his belt, and it's, of course, the tackle out of Utah, Caleb Lomu. I love him because of his hand strength. Once he latches onto your chest plate, that you're not going anywhere. You're fucking done. He's taking you out of the play. He pulls blocks pretty well. He's going to be a really good fit for mobile schemes. But again, there's that limited sample size with him, so you're buying in on what his ceiling is. But damn if that ceiling isn't impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we're gonna end up flip flopping here because at three,
You have
I do
feeling?
have Monroe Freeling. Yeah, I I mean, my biggest thing that I like about him is the things that Caleb lacks. He's he's got a little bit more athleticism in certain ways. He moves a little bit better, and unlike Proctor, he actually has the arm length to dictate that he can just kind
Yes.
of bully people with that length. Um, and so I kind of rate that a little higher because I think tackle wise, he's just going to be a little bit better. Um, Obviously, his run game is again, you're going to see this as a common trait, unfortunately, with tackles. His run game is not great, um, but he's gotten better. I really like that strength and his arm length to kind of bully people from going around his edge or going around his
Yes.
side, right?
Yes.
So he kind of clears up his outside, and his strength allows him to kind of hold people in the inside. So I just think he's a better all arounder right now, but I do think Caleb has the potential to be better in the long term, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Talking about number two, we're going to talk about a guy whom I believe I said, or I did say right here, he moves like a tight end in the body of an offensive tackle. Um, and I, of course, am talking about Caleb Lomu's running mate from Utah, the tackle Spencer Fano. Um,
Yep.
this dude, very quick with his lateral movement, gets in front of people very well. I
Mhm.
love how his hands can fire off independently to keep people away and to just kind of punch them right in the chest plate. Um, rarely gets knocked out of a play because he's got such great balance. It's very hard to knock him off balance and push him over.
Yeah.
Um, his arms are a little shorter, not terribly bad, not like Proctor, but like still a touch on the short side. And I think if you look at his waist, chest, and thighs, they're a little bit leaner than I would like. But overall, I think he's going to be a fantastic addition to anybody's offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. I fully agree. I have Spencer Fano as my second as well. Um, the funny thing is, we talked about it earlier, but his biggest thing he lacks, arm length. But the difference is he's fast enough and quick enough on his feet to make up for the fact that he
Yep.
does have short arms.
Yep.
And the one thing that I think also will give him an edge is that, apparently people found out that his arm length is one of the shortest when it comes to tackles. I think they said it was like right around 32 inches, which is pretty short for
Yeah.
tackles.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that if that was concerning enough for the guys that are drafting him, he said, "Fuck it, I'll play center if you really want me to." Like, so he's showing that kind of selflessness of like, I will play whatever position you want me to. You want me to move to guard? I'll play guard. You want me to go center? I'll play center.
Yep.
I think he's still better as a tackle because of that speed, and not all tackles have that kind of speed to keep up with, despite his arm length. Um, and I think we mentioned earlier that some of these guys are not as good as like run blocking versus pass blocking. I think he's got the all around tool set. He can pass block, he can run block. People don't get around him. I think if I remember right, I'll have to double check, but I believe he allowed 0 sacks all last year.
I think so.
Um, yeah, junior year. He allowed 0 sacks in his junior year on nearly 360 pass blocking
Yep.
reps. Obviously, the arm length is not a problem.
Obviously not a problem. All right. And of course, number one, we're going to talk about a guy who's built like a water heater with a pair of legs on it. And honestly, it would be easier for defenders to break down a brick wall than it would be to go over and around this guy. We're talking, of course, about the offensive tackle out of Miami, Francis Mauigoa.
Yep, absolutely.
Good Lord, is this dude a monster? He's an absolute freak. Just makes people look foolish.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say hand placement could use a bit of work, but that's something you can train, and he needs work on like identifying a complex blitz package. Outside of that,
Right.
those are things that come with repetition. He's an absolute plug and play day one. Just a monster of a tackle. I think he's easily top 5 in this draft.
Yeah. It's funny we've talked about like run blocking being a problem with a lot of tackles. Excuse me, apologies. This guy doesn't have that problem. This guy creates space with his run blocking. He creates holes for his runners. Like his pass blocking isn't bad. It's just his run blocking is special.
Yes.
He's got a lot of strength. He just moves guys around and goes, "Nope, we're going over here now."
Yep, we're gonna like you saw in the movie they did about Michael Oher. I was taking him to the bus, coach. It was time for him to go home. That's Maui going. Exactly. He's like, it's time for this guy to go. We're gonna go over here now. Come on.
We're going over here. Hold on now. Come
on. We're going over here.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, his floor is already really good with a potential to be even better as he progresses through the league. I would have a hard time. I mean, I have him as a top 10 draft prospect, like just in general. I don't see how if you are in the top 10 and you really need offensive lineman that you don't go, shit, let's go grab that guy real quick.
Exactly.
Like,
100%.
I'd be shocked if he slips out of the top 10.
I would be as well. All right, let's talk about guards because I don't have any centers. We'll let you talk about centers at the end. I know you have more guards than I do. You said you had, 4 of them?
I have 5.
5.
But only 2 are really any good, and the third one is kind of like maybe.
All right, so go ahead. Start your list.
So first, I'm going to talk about... Where are you on my list? Give me 1 second. Right here. So we are going to talk about a guy that I think has a lot of potential. I think you and I actually have already talked about him before we started recording. He's a guy I see as like probably a late 3rd rounder, maybe a 4th rounder. He's got a lot of upside, but I think he needs more work. So I am talking about guard out of Kentucky in Jalen Farmer. I like what he's got on paper. I think he's got a lot of potential, but he doesn't have a lot of lateral agility, but as a guard, how much does that matter? I think he's a little inconsistent with his snap timing. I think he gets kind of juked out a little bit more than he should by stunts and other, like, not necessarily bull rushes, but more elusive maneuvers. And sometimes he ends up trying to be over aggressive when he's going up against somebody. So I think he has some learning to do, but he's got a lot of the physical tools to be potentially really good.
I agree. That's why, and I'll tell you right now, I have him as my 2, keep an eyeball on. I think he's got a lot of tools that I think make him a very interesting prospect.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And he's not really slow either. I mean, at 6'5", 4'9" is not bad.
No, that's pretty good.
All right. Let's talk about another guy who I think is probably a late 3rd rounder. Which is going to be the guard out of Georgia Tech in Kalen Rutledge. He's got a lot of the intangibles that you can't really teach. Like, he's got good size, he's got good hands. But kind of like Jalen, I just think he's got some technical issues that he needs to work through. And I think he's going to have to, like, kind of sit and learn a little bit. But again, it's all coachable stuff. He's got the intangibles. He just needs better coaching. And not that his coaching was probably bad, but I mean, he's just got to get more coaching, right? He just needs more time. He feels good depth. I just, I mean, he's a big dude, and he fits well. I don't know. I don't know what else to say outside of, like, he's got a lot that I like. He just has to work on his technical skill set a little bit more. That's pretty much it. And again, like, that's coachable. That's all stuff that can be coached. So, unlike other guys that maybe have issues that are less coachable, he doesn't really have that issue. He can be coached. He's shown he's improved since his first game, and he's got that potential. He's just not there yet. And so he might be just a late bloomer in the NFL, or maybe he'll just always be just a good second depth chart kind of guy. Who knows? All right. Moving on to my third guard. My third guard is, I think he's somebody that's probably more like a late second rounder. I think he's got real good potential, so we're going to talk about him. He's out of Texas A&M. It is Chase Bisontis. Sorry, I'm probably butchering that. There's a lot he's got going for him. He can be flexed because apparently he has flexed in the past to tackle when he was playing. So he's got versatility, which can be important. He's got pretty good foot speed. He's got good balance. I mean, there's a lot that I think is pretty good. I mean, again, he's kind of like one of those guys that's his issues aren't really physical, or even intelligence based. It's going to be just more like technical things he needs to work on, dealing with pass rushers a little bit more. Bull rushes catch him off guard a little bit more than they should. You know, I think his pass protection has gotten really good as he's progressed. His other big issue is honestly he has gotten flagged a decent amount. He does get, he's known for getting a decent amount of penalties, which is something that needs to also be worked on. So you work on some technical issues, you work down on getting the penalties, you don't let yourself get kind of outmaneuvered by the other guy across from you. And I think he's got a really good potential, definitely to be a solid starter at some point. I don't know if you want to start him right away or not. You could, but I really wouldn't recommend it. I think the other two guys on my list are more likely to be starters for sure. But he's definitely got that potential in him, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. At number two.
At number two, I have the guard out of Oregon, Emmanuel Pregnon. Sorry if I'm butchering that last name too. It's spelled a little weird. He has good tape. His combine was pretty decent. He's a very reliable interior blocker. He's very strong, which is pretty important if you're going to play inside interior lineman. He's actually got a higher vertical than others, which is kind of weird. Like I don't know why he has that ability, but he can. He's very strong and quick with his like feet and lower body. He can get more explosive. And you know, coming at 314 pounds, he's a big dude. But I do think he is a little bit of a project. He doesn't move as well as you would like him to within the pocket, if that makes sense.
It does.
He's kind of side to side movement isn't great, or even his back, his forward backward motion isn't the best. He feels almost like he moves a little tight, like he's just not fully loosened out, if that makes sense. He's not really loose.
It does.
And his 40 is very average. Like he's not super fast.
No.
But for his size, he's pretty decent. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot of potential. If you need somebody who's just going to kind of anchor your interior and you don't really ask a lot of them, I think he could easily be a starter. If you want somebody who's going to be able to motion a little bit more and move around a little bit more, he's not really your guy for that at the moment. Could he turn into that? Maybe, but he isn't there quite yet.
And talk about number one, we all know who it's going to be. It's Olivevenga Ione, the guard out of Penn State. This dude, to me, he's the only real first-round talented guard. He's
definitely my first rounder.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast, especially in the passing game. His grip, we've mentioned grip strength before, but this guy's is just unfair. It's like he works out with those grippers all the time, and he's just like, "Rrr!"
Oh yeah.
He's like a bulldog. Once he latches on, you're not getting rid of him. He sets very well against the rush, and the way that he sets his outside shoulders, he forces people to play back into his power.
Yeah.
Very smart on that line. I don't think his run blocking is quite as good as his pass blocking, but it's not terrible. And
no, it's not bad. It's workable for sure.
It's workable, and I don't think he's got great lateral quickness, but he's a guard, so I'm not concerned with that really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
He's again kind of like a phone booth player, right?
Yes.
You're asking him to kind of be like, you're guarding just this perimeter, and that is it. You do not need to move outside of this zone. This is what we expect you to be able to do.
You're not going to ask him to pull.
No. You're asking him to basically be a sumo wrestler, and that's about it.
And he's really, really, really good at it.
He's really good at it.
Yeah. I don't have any centers. If I had one, I'll tell you who to keep an eyeball on. And it's going to be your number one center. It's going to be Jake Slaughter out of Florida. First off, the name. The name is amazing. Slaughter!
It is pretty fun.
Yes.
He is definitely the best center, but I still have him being a second rounder overall.
Yeah, I think
he's the most like, if you need a center now who can play now, he is going to be your most ready center. Like, he could play now if you wanted him to. You would have some issues with his run blocking, but his pass protection is really good right now even. So he could be somebody you could start. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could if you really, really needed one. Outside of that, I do have 3 others that I do kind of just want to kind of highlight because I think that they have potential, but there just is a little bit to be desired. First, I want to talk about the center out of Iowa, Logan Jones. He's my 4th, and I think he's kind of a 3rd-round prospect. Most of these guys are going to be like 2nd and 3rd-round prospects. I think he's got really good pass protection. He's very clean in the pocket. He can hold his own. He's very good at kind of mirroring what's the other side of him. It's just his run blocking is his biggest issue. He's not going to really create holes for you. He's going to have a hard time really stopping somebody from reaching over or around him to grab at the running back if somebody's coming near him. And that's really his biggest issue, but he's got really good pass blocking. So if you just need somebody who's going to help with your pass blocking, he can definitely do that.
Because you tend to run outside.
Yeah. If you're more running outside of kind of zones and stuff, I think you might be okay with him. But he's just not strong enough to outpower somebody straight up in front of him when it comes to run blocking. Next, I'm going to talk about the center out of Kansas State, which is Sam Hecht. I like him a little bit better. He's not like a freak power guy. He's not elite when it comes to his athleticism, but he's got good balance. He makes good reads. He's very intelligent. He kind of knows how to play the defense against themselves in a way. And I think that can be very valuable. He led 0 sacks when he was playing, so that's really good. He's very consistent. I just, my biggest concern is he doesn't move great. He's not somebody you really want to reach and climb and move the pocket much. He's somebody who's definitely going to be more of an anchor and just kind of hold than anything else. And so depending on how you use him and kind of what your scheme is, he has really good potential, but he's not like an all-around center that you can just use however you want and get great success out of, if that makes sense. He's definitely somebody who you want as like a pass protector. He's okay at run blocking, but you don't really want to move him around much. You see that with certain run schemes where they're going to fake going inside and then they're going to kind of pull part of their line in one direction or the other. You're not going to want to do that with him. He's not going to have a lot of success moving on his feet. He's going to allow people right through him. So that's just not something you're going to really want.
Yep.
The next guy, I do have as like a late 2nd rounder. I think he's a little bit better. Again, we're only marginal improvements here, to be honest with you. out of Auburn is Connor Liu. I I think he's got basically the pass protection down. Uh, uh, it's his run blocking is fine. Um, he's very good under pressure. He's good at kind of keeping his quarterback protected. He's got a more lateral movement than some of the other guys have, and he's got good reaching.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
technique guy.
yeah, he's definitely more of a technique guy. The only thing that are concerning, obviously, is that he did have an ACL injury, which is concerning how much he's going to come back from that. But I think overall, if the ACL is cleared as an injury, I think he's got a lot of upward potential in comparison to the rest, where he can do a little bit of everything. Like you kind of want a center who can do both pass and run and kind of move around. And he feels like a guy who can do that as long as that ACL holds up. And then my number one consensus is somebody we already talked about, which is Jake Slaughter. I think Jake Slaughter is the most NFL ready out of all the centers. He's got the best pass protection. He's got pretty good run blocking, but it's not even close to as good as his pass blocking. Um, he makes mistakes that are going to allow people through to get to the running back a little bit more. He can't sustain his strength as long as you'd want a center to be able to. Um, and he can sometimes end up being too aggressive, overreaching for a defensive lineman to try to hold him down, and he'll just straight up miss. And the other guy will just out elusive him, basically, more or less. Um, and that is concerning, but I think that's workable. I think the difference is he's got the intangibles, and I think that some of the run blocking just mostly is going to come down to coaching. I think it's something that he could easily learn and easily coach. Um, as long as he just learns to bide his time a little bit better and to do a better job at kind of like not overselling what he's going to do. Um, he's got a very high potential ceiling, and even his floor is just a solid mid of the pack NFL starter. That's kind of where I see him.
Yep. I love him,
but still not worth a first round pick.
No, he does have an NFL pedigree.
Yeah.
His dad played, I want to say, defensive back at Louisiana Tech, and his grandfather played quarterback for Louisiana Tech, and then would go on to play in the pros for the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
Mickey Slaughter. So, there is no relation to the WWE superstar, Sergeant Slaughter. Sadly.
Jeez, shocker.
Sadly.
Shocker. It would have been hilarious.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. At any rate, that's what we have for the offense this week. Next week, we will be doing defense. That will be interesting to see what we think about some defensive guys. I will also point out we did miss one piece of news that came out today. The All-Pro quarterback, Stephon Gilmore, has officially retired. He didn't play last season. We thought he was already kind of retired, but he's made it official now.
Confirmation.
Yeah, he faxed it into the league. He's officially done with football at this point.
Loki. Hey. Little punk. Being a punk.
So, we do want to say congratulations to Stephon Gilmore. You had a great career.
Yeah.
We hope that you have an excellent retirement as well.
Agreed.
Outside of that, next week we'll talk defense. I think there's going to be some interesting things to talk about on the defense. There's a ton of edges. And we will talk about all of them. There's some interesting linebackers, but there's even more interest of, are they a linebacker? Are they an edge? Are they a defensive tackle? Are they a cornerback? Are they a safety? I don't know! We'll get into all of that next week. I don't have anything else for this week. Do you have anything else for the people, Chris?
Nope.
All right. So what we'll tell you is that we believe in you. Keep your mind tuned in. We believe you can do it. And we will see you back here next week. Same bearded channel, same bearded place. Whatever bearded time I get this out, or the next week's out. In the meantime, we hope that all of you stay bearded.